Gonna... Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fresh Finds, our Power Sips. My name is Joni Rampolla, one of the registered licensed dietitians with your Giant and Martins. And today we are going to do a deeper dive into tea, right? Tea, that sip, savor, soothe beverage that's perfect for that snowy day outside, warms you up, and we're going to feature a recipe, a chai dir. So chai tea combined with apple cider. Steep into wellness with tea. So tea is one of the most consumed beverages worldwide. Naturally, it's low in calorie, pretty much 0 calories for most tea, and it's hydrating. It's mostly water, right? So it adds to your hydration. It's rich in plant compounds that can support our health. And tea goes back centuries old, has a lot of cultural meaning for many people, and it also has comforting properties for people as well. So tea is definitely an enjoyable beverage. So from leaf to cup, there's what I'm going to call a true tea or a real tea, and that is black tea, green tea, white tea, oolong tea. They come like all real tea comes from the same plant, the Camellia sinensis plant. So if it comes from Camellia sinensis, it's real tea. Then there's also herbal teas, which definitely have a place and can be really delicious, but botanically, they're not tea. But they do offer many caffeine-free options. They can be made from flowers, from roots, from spices or herbs. And both, whether it's a real tea or an herbal tea, both offer health benefits. So tea is definitely that beverage you can lean into and enjoy. So let's talk about some of the types of tea and their health benefits. So green tea is the highest in antioxidants that are good for heart health, support your brain, and because they contain EGCG, which is epigallocatechin gallate, yes, that's a mouthful. Um, It's said to help with weight loss because it boosts metabolism slightly. So while doing nothing different, you may burn an extra 15 calories, which not going to do any, tremendous things for your weight loss, 15 calories with a cup. But that's what it does. It can boost an additional 15 calories. Black tea, good for your heart. It does have a little caffeine, so they say good for your focus and also good for your digestion. White tea is the gentlest, the lowest amount of caffeine. It's oxidant rich, and they call white tea maybe a little anti-aging because it promotes healthy skin and healthy aging. And then there's oolong tea, which is good for your metabolism because it aids fat burning. It also supports your digestion, and there's research that it can slightly improve mood. So all tea offers good health benefits. So there's no wrong choice, whichever tea you like. So what makes the teas different if they all come from the same plant? It's how they're processed. So the processing affects their flavor and the antioxidant or properties that they contain. So what makes one tea different from another tea? So again, it's how the tea leaves are processed. They could be dried, they could be steamed, they could be rolled or oxidized. And oxidized just means exposed to oxygen or air. So whatever that unique combination of the different processing methods, it determines the tea's color, taste, and the type. So I'm talking about green tea here, but that picture is actually matcha, which is not, it's different than green tea. So green tea is steamed to stop oxidation, which preserves its fresh green color and has a milder taste. So matcha comes in a powder, right? We don't find it usually in a tea bag. It's a powder that you can add, makes a frothy beverage like this froth here, but it's the whole green tea leaf ground into a powder. So you're actually getting all of the antioxidants from that green leaf. Black tea undergoes rolling and oxidation, which deepens its amber, red, or brown color and also intensifies the color. And it's like nutrition in a cup, right? You get some antioxidants. The tea has polyphenols, some catechins. You get hydration that has flavor and no calories. You get kind of, they call it a calm alertness. So in tea is L-theanine, which calms your body down, promotes relaxation, but doesn't make you feel drowsy. And then different teas also have caffeine in them, which promotes alertness. So you get that calm alertness. So the 48 milligrams of caffeine per 8 ounces is in black tea compared to green tea, which may have 29 milligrams per 8 ounce. And I see there's an extra N in there. But yeah, so there is some caffeine, but it's much less than coffee. And the caffeine in tea doesn't promote jitteriness like the same amount of coffee might in some people. Just to be aware that if a tea comes in a bottle, sometimes they add sweeteners or sugar to it. So just to know what you're getting. If you made your own, you can sweeten it with intention, knowing how much you're putting in there, or not even use a sweetener, but naturally sweeten it with herbs, spices, fruit, etc. Herbal teas beyond the leaf here. So these are just some different type of teas. Chamomile, as we know, is the relaxation, sleep. It's high in that L-theanine that just promotes calmness. Doesn't make you drowsy, but promotes calmness. Peppermint has been shown to help digestion. Hibiscus can support a healthy blood pressure, so not in place of meds or anything crazy like that. Doesn't do anything drastic, just supporting it. And ginger can be used for either nausea relief or as something to help reduce inflammation in the body. So those are just some sample of teas, their benefit, and then what they might taste like. Beyond the teacup. So we can be cooking and baking with tea as well. And I just jotted down some of my personal favorites way to use tea. So I am a coffee drinker for the most part. Usually in the evening I'll have tea. In the morning it's always coffee, but I do like to use tea in cooking or baking. So one of my favorite refreshing drinks is the brewed green tea plus lemon juice and mint to make like a green tea lemonade. Put it over ice. It's delicious. I love chai, how I got this recipe today. So like a chai spiced oatmeal. So instead of making your oatmeal with milk or water, use chai tea instead. Just adds like a spicy, nice flavor. Maybe include some raisins in there too, would be delicious. Matcha energy bites. And again, matcha is a green tea powder. So they take the whole dried green tea leaf and grind it into a powder. You can add that powder to foods. So energy bites, you mix oats, either peanut butter or almond butter, a little bit of honey and matcha powder, and just mix them and roll it into balls and then freeze the little balls for a moment, then they stay formed, and that's an energy bite. And they're actually kind of delicious and really high in antioxidants and helpful. And then any food that uses water, you can use tea instead. So like a tea infused rice. So instead of using water for your rice, make your rice in tea and then add some roasted vegetables, and you just get some unique flavors. So tea can add depth to whether it's something sweet, like a matcha energy bite, or something savory, like a tea infused rice. So tea, stress, and focus. Tea contains L-theanine, as we said, especially that green and black tea that promotes that calm alertness. So the L-theanine is the calm part, and then the caffeine is the alertness, and together it just makes you feel good. It's a gentle alternative to coffee. Coffee, the caffeine can make people feel a little bit jittery. And tea is something that um, a lot of people are comfortable giving to kids where they wouldn't give the caffeine in coffee to their kids too. Tea can feel grounding rather than jittery, which many people appreciate. And then heart health. Tea does support healthy blood vessels, may help lower that LDL cholesterol. Again, nothing compared to medications, and can support blood pressure management. Tea works best as part of that overall heart healthy lifestyle, but every little small habit adds up, and tea does have heart health benefits. Then caffeine considerations. Tea generally contains less caffeine than coffee, but the brew time does affect the caffeine level. There are, like herbal teas, many naturally caffeine-free options, and adjust the brew strength and timing based on your sensitivity and preference. And we'll talk more about brew strength in a moment. Steeping tea. So tea does release what's called tannins. They're polyphenols. They are good for your body. We want them in there. Um, Polyphenols in low amounts add complexity to tea, right? It makes the tea taste like tea. But when over extracted, meaning you're leaving that tea bag in there for a long amount of time, the tannins leave a bitter flavor. So while they're good for health, they may not be good for your mouth and how you appreciate that cup of tea. So most teas reach their optimal flavor extraction with only 3 to 5 minutes. So it's pretty quick. Delicate teas, specifically green or white, can become bitter if steeped too long or if the water temperature is too hot. So you want your water to be about 175 degrees Fahrenheit. So if it's boiling, that's not the right time to put in a tea bag. Your tea might taste a little bit more bitter if that happens. So if you like your tea tasting stronger, rather than leaving that tea bag in longer, use more than one tea bag. And that can help reduce the bitterness of that cup of tea to make that perfect cup of tea. Would just be more tea bags, but still for that 3 to 5 minutes. All right, so this is the recipe that we are going to make today, chider. It does earn one guiding star. And while it's quick, meaning it only takes 16 minutes, I pretty much did this ahead of time, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Um, but it does earn a guiding star. And just to talk about what is a guiding stars are in our store, online, or on our recipes that help you find more good stuff to add to your cart or add to your life. So 1 star is good nutritional value, 2 stars is better nutritional value, and 3 stars is best nutritional value. Things earn a guiding star by having more vitamins, minerals, fiber, whole grains, omega-3 fatty acids, and less saturated fat, trans fat, added sodium, added sugar, or other additives like colors. You can find them on the shelf tag to the right of the price, like this picture shows. You'll just see like the little stars going down if it earns stars. If nothing is there, that product did not earn a star. If it's a store brand, you may see guiding stars on the front of the package if it earns a star. On our savory recipe site, you can find guiding stars when you scroll down to the nutrition information. It would be right there next to the nutrition information if it did earn one. Sometimes you'll see guiding stars in our weekly ad or weekly circular, but they don't mark every item. So if you see a guiding star next to one item, that doesn't mean the item next to it didn't earn a star. Just sometimes we want to call out that something is healthy. It's on all dietitian materials, our brochures, and our signage. All right, let's talk about this recipe now, chider. So the ingredients are apple cider, a cinnamon stick, ground cloves, chai tea bags, Honey is optional. I'm choosing not to add honey today, but I will do the garnish of whipped cream and ground cinnamon. That's going to be my sweetness as opposed to the honey. So here are the steps. Steps are to a medium saucepan, add the apple cider, the cinnamon stick, and the ground cloves. Bring to a boil on medium high, stirring occasionally. Then reduce heat and simmer 8 to 10 minutes. I didn't think you wanted to just watch a pot heat up for 10 minutes. So I did this already. I removed from the heat and added the tea bags. And then you steep the tea bags for 5 minutes. I did that already. Then the next step is using a fine mesh strainer, strain the mixture into a large measuring cup. In my head, I went, all that's in there is a cinnamon stick. Like, what is it going to strain? It was ground cloves and then apple cider and tea. But I will say when I strained it, there was stuff in my strainer. I don't know if it was tea or cloves that clumped together, but there was some stuff in there. So just in case you had that same thought as me, I wanted to just say it's probably a good idea to use a fine mesh strainer and strain it. Then wipe out the saucepan, pour the cider back to reheat or medium. So I did all that already. My saucepan is right next to me, heating up, very hot right now. And then if you're going to ladle it into the mugs, if you want to put in honey, you put in honey at this point for a little sweetness. I'm choosing not to put in honey. And then you serve it hot with whipped cream, a sprinkle of cinnamon. If you want to make a dirty chai, you can actually add a shot of coffee or espresso. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for the moment. There we go. And I'm going to show you my cider. So I have a pot here. This is my pot that's just boiling in there. Has my cider mixture. So I did not use cider today because didn't have it, but I did have in my fridge apple juice. Totally changes the flavor from cider, but I will say when you put the cloves and the cinnamon stick in there, just the aroma of that, and cinnamon stick comes in a jar just like the regular spices do. The aroma of this, if I'm having company next time, I am just going to put that in the pot and let that fill the air. My husband walked in. It's like, oh my God, why does our house smell so good? I'm like, yep, it's the cloves. It's the cloves. So it does make your house smell amazing. So I'm going to just put my camera down for the minute. I have a clear glass and just a mug. And I'm going to see if I can pour it right out of the pot. It says to ladle it, but I think I can just do that. See how that works. Perfect. And then I just have my whipped dairy topping, give it a little shake. Oh, and I used vanilla chai. That's the back of the box. Vanilla chai is the flavor that I chose for this. And then I am going to take cinnamon. Ooh, and I'm just going to put a sprinkle of cinnamon in there. And that is my cider. I think I need a milk mustache, whipped cream mustache. Oh, that is really good. The cloves, to me, it's the cloves that give it the great flavor. Well, something to consider to make on a cold, snowy day. I'm going to share my screen for a minute more, and um, then I will answer your question. So hang with me for a second. All right. Want to just tell you what's coming up and how you can join our dietitian team tomorrow. Part of our Blue Zone series is me living well, protein and fiber-rich meals. Hope you join me. Thursday is coffee chat with Shayna and Charlotte. And then next Monday, Meal Solutions Flyer to Fork with Charlotte again. And Tuesday, Fresh Finds, getting ready for that big game with Buffalo Cauliflower Bites with me. Hope to see you there. Thank you for joining me and take care. If you want to stay on, I will answer your questions. May your day be steeped in health and your problems be kept to a simmer. Brew a little joy into your routine. Take care, everyone, and stay warm. Thanks. Bye.